The companies that are going to do well are the ones that have an original brand voice, that have their own tone, that cut through all of that. I know a lot of people in marketing get worried about the automation of AI. As a writer, could I be outsourced to an AI tool? I don't think so. I think that anything at first, people might lean really heavily into doing that. But I think over time, what they're going to see is the results are not there. And they're going to wonder why the results aren't out there. I used ChatGPT to create 50 articles this month and we're not getting any more traffic. Well, because the articles aren't very good. They may be factually correct. There might not be anything quote unquote wrong with them, but they're not going to have that personality. Google's getting smarter. It's going to pick up on that. Google's going to know what is AI generated and what's not in order to show you the human generated content over the AI. There are guardrails, but I think it could be really helpful as like an assistant for sure. Even though it feels like I don't always get the juice out of everything as much as I want, I do think a lot of my job at every company I've been at is like kind of telling the same story over and over. I think every company really has one main story that they're telling. That doesn't mean that there's not sub chapters below that and ways to tell that, but I think really every company sort of has one singular story. And so it's my job to like find ways to retell that story in different and interesting ways. I think for me, it's sometimes easiest to start with that kind of thing, like as a pillar content. An ebook at one of my previous companies, we called it the bricks and feathers strategy, where you create a brick. Usually for us is like some sort of ebook, and then you create feathers around it that fall back to the brick.
Yeah, I like that.
I think if you start with an ebook in that way, you don't need a ton of those. Every company just needs a few pillar pieces of content that remain static, that remain evergreen. You pull out a chapter of that and that becomes a blog post. You pull out a chapter that becomes a webinar. You create a webinar series. You create social posts over 3 months about it.